Um, I watched a movie called Joker recently, and ever since I watched that movie, and YouTube started recommending videos about Hitler for some reason. I don't know how YouTube algorithm works, but that's what happened. And after I watched some videos, and I realized that there's a lot of things in common, as in similarity between Joker and Hitler. And speaking of Joker, he was mentally ill and he was always rejected by people. He always wanted to be a famous comedian, but he kind of failed. He was raised in poor. He was living with single mom and he was always taking good care of her. But one day, he was doing standing show. He was not really funny, so that's why it's gone viral. For some reason, there's a really famous talk show host called Murray, and he brought up the clique and he made fun of him on his show. Author the Joker watched the show and he's kind of offended, and that actually triggered him to be a bad/evil character. Speaking of Hitler's life, Hitler was always trying to be a good artist, but he tried to get into an art school, kind of famous art school, but he always failed. So he met the principal and he asked him like, why didn't you give me an offer? And he goes like, he probably thinking like he was not really good at art or painting, but he kind of said it indirectly, oh, why didn't you actually study architecture? Because you seem like you're kind of good at it. And for some reason, Hitler agreed with him. That is the thing that motivated him to go to Germany, because German architecture style was something that he was kind of inspired by. So he went to Germany and he was supposed to study architecture there to get into a school. He kind of lost his interest about architecture. Instead, he started getting fascinated by German history and something that Germany did. And he studied a lot about Germany. He really liked Germany. For example, at a bar, he was just sitting, and if a random guy talked to him, he was just explaining amazing things Germany did and etc. etc. But people didn't really agree with him. So basically, he got rejected, like Joker, if that makes sense. So Hitler got rejected 2 times. First time, he wanted to be an artist, but he got rejected. And he was trying to explain about what kind of awesome things Germany did, but he got rejected by many people. And that's kind of like a common thing. Ever since they were rejected, actually they were triggered to be an evil character. So they started killing people, so to say. And I personally think they were not really bad people. What Hitler did is totally bad. I'm not defending him. And it's kind of sensitive issue, so I just want to make sure what actually made him bad is society, the social circumstances. For example, in the movie, let's say the Joker was raised in privileged family, not just by a single mom who is schizophrenic. Let's say his family was well off and he was kind of pretty rich and he doesn't really need to care about money and stuff. He can just pursue whatever he wants, and I don't think that thing ever happened in the movie. Hitler is kind of same. I'm not sure about his financial situation, but he got rejected by the school in the first place when he wanted to be an artist. So my conclusion is that people are not, I'm not saying, there's no evil people. People are basically same. Society makes bad people. Like for example, rich people tend to be considered as really generous compared to poor people. You know why? It's because they're stable financially, so they don't need to be desperate about money or food. Whereas poor people, they need to be desperate to get some food because they're starving. They need to be alive. They're actually worrying about tomorrow's breakfast or lunch, whatever. You gotta live. That's what your genetics said. If you don't eat, you're gonna die. So your top priority is food, which is money. So that's the reason why poor people couldn't be as generous as rich people. Anyway, that's my personal opinion. As a Korean man, I can't speak for every Korean, but that's what I think after watch Joker and videos about Hitler. If you have any opinion about it, you can just leave any comments below. I'm totally open-minded person, so I think it is really good to share opinions with each other because it's gonna broaden your perspective. So just leave a comment down below, and if you find it interesting or agree, even if you disagree, just press like, hit the subscribe button as well.